What's your name?
Kamilla. And your age?
How tall are you?
And you're only 5'7".
Right. What's your name?
How tall are you?
Your hair is way too long.
What part are you playing today?
Next question, how tall are you?
What's the colour of your eyes? What's your experience in acting?
Hi everyone, I'm Kamilla and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about auditioning. I've been auditioning as an actress for about 12 years now, or 11? 12 years. And I just thought that it would be interesting to share my experience, like things that happen to me, things I do to get through the whole process, because it's kind of like stressy, but like it might just help you to be relaxed and to be as much prepared as possible, so you can just really focus on the audition and not everything that's happening around. So yeah, let's get into the video. First of all, very important, your audition doesn't start when the camera's rolling, when you're in the middle of the spotlight, when the casting director says, okay, who are you? No, it starts the minute you enter the building of where the auditioning is. It starts there and it ends when you leave the building. Really, like, don't ever think that it starts when the camera's on and when it shuts down, because it's all about how you behave towards people, how kind and polite you are, if you are on time, be on time, all of these things. So what I personally do is I always come half an hour early. This is just to show that you are very organized, that you're on time, that you're reliable, but also, and I can't believe I'm telling you this because this is one of my tricks, and I hope no casting director sees this, because they'll be like, that's why she does that. Because you always need to fill in the papers, and you can do that, and then afterwards you need to wait. And there's always like a casting director assistant or like someone you can talk to that's like working for the company, and if you're before your time, they're kind of like obliged to talk to you, and then you can ask them like, oh, what are you working on? And then they'll ask you, what are you doing? So it's kind of like a talk that you can have with those people without like actually starting like the whole text and auditioning stuff, but just like getting to know them and getting and they can get to know you. And if you arrive on time, then you do your audition, like the actual talking parts and the filming parts, and then afterwards they give you the papers and then they say bye, because then they're not obliged to talk to you. But if you do this like before, then you can talk to them. My second tip is to dress yourself kind of like the character you're gonna play. I mean, kind of like that towards the age range. We all have an age range, so for me that would be, I could play someone who's 16 years old, 25, or like 30, 35 almost, depending on how I look. So how I do my makeup, how I put my hair, how I dress myself, it all has an influence. Of course, you don't need to be like exactly like, if you're there to play Sherlock Holmes, don't come in like the raincoat and the hat and the pipe, like no, but you can give like little hints on how, like, kind, so you look more like 20 or I look more like 30. That can really help, because in the end, like unconsciously, those people are looking for someone who's that age, and you can kind of like push it that way. That's a very handy thing to know. The next tip would be prepare yourself. Prepare yourself. The only thing you can prepare as an actor is knowing your lines, knowing your script inside out, knowing what the character wants, knowing what the other character, what the other people want. I'll be doing another video on this, how to analyze your script, so it can help you when you go to your auditions. But really, like, know the objective of the character, know the background story. If you don't know it, if they don't give it to you, do make up something. Think about what you think that character would look like, how his mum, his dad, what he or she eats for dinner, what the hobbies are. Like you can think of so many things. If they give you the whole script, read it. If you know who the director is going to be, the casting director, who the other actors are, search for them on IMDb, really, IMDb, the place to be. Go there, search for everyone, search for what other films have they made, who have they worked with, like know your stuff, because this is the only thing you can do before you go there. There are hundreds of other actors who look the same like you and who might have done all this work and you haven't done it, so they will all have like this step before, like closer to getting the part. So, and that's the only thing that you can actually prepare. So do know it, do know the lines, do know like as much as you can, so that when you have to say the text, you don't have to think about it anymore. If someone asks you a question, you can answer to the question, or you can give your own input. I think that that's something they also like to see, that you know what you're talking about and that you know what the text is about. So that's really handy, and do prepare, because if you don't prepare, it won't go. It's just forget it. So an example for me, I had a recent audition and they gave me 10 pages like 1.5 days before, and I was like, okay, I can do this, and I tried my very, very best to learn all the lines, and I knew what it was about. I knew, I did all my work, and I thought, like, they can't be asking to like know 10 pages in 1.5 days and to actually do it like as if I've had it for a month. And I came to the audition and we read it, and she's like, okay, let's do it, like without the papers. And I'm like, oh really? Like, I only had 1.5 days. I'm sorry, I really did my best, but I don't know them like word by word. And the casting director said, like, okay, if you don't know, if it's going to be with paper, then I guarantee you won't get the part. So I was lucky enough that I knew like the line, like kind of, I knew what they were talking about. I didn't know the exact words, but I knew like the objective of what was happening. So yeah. So she was fine with that, and we just did it. I improvised, but so it's not as important to know all the text literally, but if just really know what you're talking about and what the character is about. Like, I can't repeat this enough, because then it will save you on moments like that where I had to do it without the text, but I still had to show something, and it was good enough to do it that way. Another thing that's really good to know is when you go to an audition, you're not there to be a superstar, to show what you can, to be the best, to be like this. No, you're just there to do the job. That's what I've learned at school recently, and it helped me so much, because just don't make such a fuss about it. You're going in, you do your text, you go out. That's it. Don't try to, like, I don't know, amaze them, or I don't know, do stuff you wouldn't normally do. Just be yourself, be calm, do what they ask. Talk with them, say things you think, or don't do that if they don't expect this from you, but it's just a job, like any other job. And then another thing I really wanted to share with you that really helped me is, as I said, you can prepare yourself by reading text, analysing it, doing all that kind of stuff, because that's the only thing you can prepare and change or work on. And in the end, auditioning, like really, this is the hardest kind of job you have chosen to be an actress, because thousands, maybe millions of other people, and girls especially, they want to be an actress. And literally, 99% is luck. Like, you can say whatever you want, but 99% is having the luck to be at that place, that moment, to know these and these and these kind of people, and like people giving you the chance to do this. Of course, we have exceptions. We have all these people who are picked up on the street and given the chance to do an audition, or I even know people who have never ever auditioned and they do one audition and they're so natural, so they get a part in a big series and like their career goes like this. But I think the majority of people that you don't hear that often is the people who are trying every audition they can get. Like for me, it has been 12 years now, and yeah, every time again, saying, who are you? Being there with a smile, getting there, like paying for all the transport, going back. Every time the emotional struggle to like, oh, I have an audition, and then, oh, I didn't get it. And like these things, and all the people around you, like your mother, your brother, they're all like, yeah, she has an audition, and then it's like, oh no, she doesn't have it. Oh, but I mean, I'm already like, I go in, I go out, and I forget it. My mum is quite, hi mum. She's always like very emotional, and yeah, so I'm like, oh, it's okay. But what I learned, because I also work behind the camera, so as an assistant director, for example, and once we were casting actors, and we had me, the director, and a producer, and we had 3 girls, and I mean more than 3, but we each had one girl we really liked, and each one of us, we had another opinion, and I was like, no, that girl. The producer was, no, that girl, and the director was, this girl. And then who wins in the end is the person who has the most money invested in the project. And that's how it goes with smaller projects, that's how it goes with bigger projects. I hear it all the time. It's just money related, everything. And it's such a personal decision. It's very, very personal. So you can't take it personal when you aren't chosen for some part. Because it's really like the kind of person they have in mind, and just being on the other side of the camera really made me realize, like, okay, that girl I liked could have been great. I know that the girl they chose is going to be great as well. They look totally different, and in the end it's just about personal taste. So that also really helps me with, if I don't have a part, it's like, yeah, okay, I wasn't the kind of face they had in mind, so let's move on to the next one. Another thing I wanted to say is what I recently learned. It's something very special, I think, if you can feel this way as I did recently, and that's to be happy about yourself and what you did, what you achieved in an audition. If you can have that feeling, then I had the feeling nothing else stands in my way. If I'm just happy with what I did, like the audition was the job, was a task, I did it, I did everything in my power to get the part, and yeah, just the feeling of satisfaction that you are happy with yourself, that you don't need the approval of someone else saying that you are good and giving you the part. I didn't get the part in the end, but for the first time I was fine with it, because I did what I could, and I knew I did what I could and even more, and I felt kind of like a piece. You know what I mean? So I really hope if there's someone out there who feels the same, let me know. And I hope that people who don't feel this yet, that you can have this kind of like rest in your heart as well one day. So in the end, I know it's very, very hard what you're doing if you're auditioning, and I think it's just kind of like I was just recently able to accept myself as I am, and just look in the mirror and be happy with what I have, and I know I can't change it, and if they don't like how I look, or if they choose someone else, it's because they have someone else in mind. And it's really a job for people who keep on pushing and never ever give up, and I guess I'm someone who never gives up, and I really hope that this video maybe could help you with some things, and I really wish you the best of luck, because it's a very hard world. Do try and do other stuff around auditioning, so you're not like too much focused on that, and if an audition comes along, great. Go for it, do your best, smile, or don't smile if they don't want you to smile, and there's always like a heartbreak and lots of love with all of this. Like, I'm not getting out of my words. Okay, sorry. Yeah, I think that's it for today. If it can help you or if you have any other experiences, please let me know in a comment. I would love to read it, and I'll see you next time. Bye!